Indian weddings are beautiful, soulful, yet tedious affair filled with ancient traditions and rituals which claim to bond the husband and a wife for the next 7 lives. But then, some of these traditions are beautiful and meaningful, some of the others are dated. Keeping up with the times, shouldn't some Indian wedding tradition be done away with already? Some of these sexist traditions are not just unfair but downright insulting. Kanyadan, a tradition in all Indian weddings, without which the wedding is incomplete. The very name Kanyadan is made of two words, Kanya and Dan. While taken literally, it means giving the daughter away. According to whole Hindu traditions, it means gift of virginity or gifting a maiden. The literal meaning of this word is donating a girl. And in Indian culture, a woman is treated like a man's property. First, she belongs to her father, then when he donates or gives her to a man, she belongs to him. And this ritual and mentality needs to change. A woman is her own person and not someone's property or a commodity to be donated or gifted. This practice is absolutely disrespectful. Kashi Yatra. In South Indian weddings, there's a ritual where the groom gets up in the middle of the wedding and refuses to marry the bride, claiming that he wants to be more religious and study further and give up all pleasures of the world, after which he walks away and the bride's father has to chase him and beg and plead him to come back and marry his daughter, as she will be his companion for life. Why is the ritual limited only to the groom? Can't the bride want to study further or be religious instead of marrying a man? Why can't the bride have her in-laws chasing after her, begging her to marry their son? Feet washing. This is a very common tradition across different cultures in India. While some have the traditions where the bride's parents wash the groom's feet, others make the bride herself wash his feet. While in earlier days the tradition made some sense as grooms generally walked barefoot from one village to another for the wedding. In modern days, with cars replacing feet and even horses, this tradition is outdated. In Assamese tradition, it is the bride's sister who washes the groom's feet. It only seems insulting to get two adults as old as the groom's own parents and deserving the same amount of respect to wash the feet of a groom. Neither is the groom forced to walk barefoot anymore, nor does he have to travel long distance. Offering water or refreshing beverages makes sense, but making the parents wash his feet is just plain humiliating. Also, while returning, the bride makes an equally long journey back home. Why doesn't her feet deserve the same treatment? Haldi for the bride. The tradition of haldi is a beautiful one where the paste of turmeric and other spices is applied on the bodies of the bride and the groom by relatives and friends to cleanse their skin and help them glow. The entire tradition is fun and at times great bonding time for the bride with the family. However, in certain regions, the bridal haldi ceremony can get weird. In Bengali tradition, the pre-wedding haldi, the turmeric paste carried by the groom's family for the bride is the same paste used by the groom or the paste that has touched the groom's body. Leaving the sexist aspect aside, we really wonder how hygienic this tradition is. While it is not practiced in many urban areas or among literate people, the custom is followed in rural areas. In some Bengali traditions, the bride is made to sit under the elbow of the groom and the water is then passed from his elbow onto her. While this tradition is not exactly the haldi tradition and happens up after the wedding, the turmeric paste is often applied to both to ward off evil eye. Name change and first name. This tradition is peculiar to North India and western parts where the bride changes her first name as well as her last name post the marriage. The new name is calculated on her and her husband's combined astrological chart and the last name is the same as her husband's last name. Also, the bride alters her middle name from that of her father's name to her husband's name. The practice is common not just in rural areas but even in urban areas. While a lot of women now retain their last names and add their husband's surname too, the tradition of making the bride change her first name is wrong. A name is quite a person's identity and making them change it is akin to stripping the complete identity away. Marrying a people tree or a dog. In crazy Indian wedding custom, if the bride is Manglik, she is made to marry a people tree or a dog. It is believed that marrying a Manglik woman results in early death of the husband. Hence, the woman is first married to a tree or an animal to ward off evil effects of the curse on her human husband. The husband has no such tradition to fulfill if he is Manglik. A simple religious ceremony resolves the issue. Pot balancing. In strange custom in Bihar, once a bride enters the groom's house, the mother-in-law places her pot on her head. She then continues to touch the feet of the elders, do other chores in the house with the pot on. After every 5 minutes, other pot is added on her head. The bride must not let the pots fall off and must carry on with the rituals with all the pots perfectly balanced. This ritual is supposed to help the bride achieve the perfect balance and harmony between her duties and her family members as a wife. While played in fun in recent years, during the early days, if the bride couldn't balance the pots, she faced much ridicule and wrath from her in-laws. All this just after she sets foot in the house. Mangal Sutra and bangles. While Western countries have wedding bands to signify marriage, in India, the bride is expected to wear Mangal Sutra in Western and Northern regions and Tali in South India post-marriage. In the most traditions, the brides are expected to wear bangles as a sign of marriage. Some traditions also have the bride sporting toe rings. Each of these ornaments are worn and never removed. However, the groom is not made to sport any rings or bracelets or chains. He continues life as usual. The wearing of ornaments is not considered burden by most women, but the unfairness in making a woman sport these signs of her marriage, unlike men, is calling. Bidai. Ever heard of your mom saying that you are Parayadan? It means that they see you as someone else's treasure. You will go to your own house one day, that is your in-laws' house. So technically her in-laws' home again, not hers. Now before she leaves, she has to throw a handful of rice over her head, symbolizing repaying the debt she had at her parents' house. So yes, girls, you are staying rent-free in someone else's house. Pati ka Ashirvad. In many customs, the bride is expected to touch the groom's feet for blessing because Pati Parmeshwar Prata. But in reality, both men and women are equal. Why should the husband be treated like a god? Why can't a man do the same? Where is the sense of equality? There are many other traditions like dowry which are pretty unfair to women. While Indian weddings are full of fun and frolic, and such small traditions taken in fun sometimes show the world of our treatment of genders. Know of any such traditions? Let us know in comment section.